Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Naval Forces test that Gaijin conducted over the past weekend. I'm going to be talking about the things I liked, I'm going to be talking about the things I didn't like, but before we do all of that, let's just take a quick look at the changes that were made for this particular naval test. Now, the three main changes that I want to talk about is number one, the addition of smoke screens to both PT boats and destroyers. Number two, and this is from Gaijin's website, the probability of a ship catching fire when struck by high explosive fragmentation shells on the sheathing and funnels, as well as when the engine compartment is damaged, has been reduced. And number three, indication for shallow depths on a ship's heading has been added. So what does this all mean? Well, basically, you can make a lot of mistakes now. I think these are all really good ideas. However, I don't know if the smoke screens have been implemented 100% correctly, because you still have target markers. I like the idea of more survivability for big ships, especially. So this whole probability of catching fire has been reduced is good in my book. And the indicator for shallow depths, on my very first match, I got beached on the shallows, and I'm pretty sure I didn't hear it, so maybe you need to make it a little more obvious. At the moment it's just a siren that goes off. Maybe some visual, maybe something more visual would be a little bit better in my opinion, but I don't know. Alright, so let's move on to the opinion part of the video. First of all, the game isn't slow, the game isn't boring. I have some experience in World Warships, and even though it's more arcadey, still feels a little bit too slow for me. This is not the case with War Thunder Naval Forces. I think it has a really good pace, it has really good, it has a very good balance with the PT boats, the destroyers, and the aircraft. I think all three vehicles complement each other very well. The destroyers are obviously superior, but you know, an aircraft can still kill a destroyer, and a PT boat can still kill a destroyer. It's hard, but it's still possible. And I think the imminent possibility of getting bombed or getting torpedoed just adds a little bit more to the excitement. I really enjoyed the dynamic between the heavy destroyers, the big destroyers, the small torpedo boats, and the nimble, going all around, really fast planes. It's a really interesting dynamic where the destroyer is obviously the most powerful, but it's not invulnerable to a torpedo hit from a PT boat or a plane. It's not invulnerable to getting rocketed or bombed by a dive bomber. And I think it formed a really good dynamic, and it's good to see that it's working properly. Speaking about torpedoes, the torpedo lead indicator I found it to be a little bit useful, but I think the torpedoes are a little bit too slow for the game. I don't know if this is historically accurate, but they just seem too slow, and at long ranges they seem a little bit useless. They seem useless at anything but point blank range in my opinion, especially if you were in the middle of the map, trying to get something on the other side of an island. I don't know how many of you knew this already. A lot of people didn't. This is why I'm mentioning it, but you can switch between the main armament and AA guns and your secondary armament. This has been on the game for a while, but a lot of people didn't notice. I don't know why. You could also switch your AI gunners to target either planes, planes and boats, or just, you know, be on standby doing basically nothing. Which, you know, I guess you could do that. The map, in my opinion, and this is the I don't like this section of the video, the map in my opinion wasn't all that good. I think it was a little bit too small for the destroyers and a little bit too big for the PT boats. This is going to be a balance that is going to have to be hit on every map in order for this combined forces, torpedo boats and destroyers, to work. The center archipelago, the center islands, I think they were a little bit too close together. There were a lot of spaces where you just couldn't go in a destroyer because the water was too shallow. Uh, but I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about this. I'm gonna say I don't like it. I didn't like the map design, at least this map in specific. Not a big fan of it. I think it should be a little bit more islands, more open for the destroyers, and also just more space for the torpedo boats to hide in. Wouldn't be a bad idea either. Something that really bothered me, and this is the thing that bothered me the second most. We'll talk about the thing that bothered me the most a little bit later, but the repairs took almost anywhere from, 12, 10, 20 seconds all the way to 300 seconds, like literally 5 minutes of waiting to be repaired. And I get it, it's a big ship, a big engine, it's hard to repair, and it only makes sense that a big ship with a lot of damage would take a long time to repair. But it wasn't fun to be standing around or just like floating around aimlessly, not really going anywhere for literally 5 minutes at some points. You could still shoot at stuff, you could still use your AAA to try and get planes that were swimming around, but it's 5 minutes, man. 5 minutes of standing around isn't fun. It doesn't matter how realistic it is. It wasn't always 5 minutes of waiting around. It was sometimes it was like 200-second repair time, 250, 150, 100, anywhere between that. But I got a couple of times. I got a like more than 300-second repair time, and holy shit, that was not fun at all. And now let's talk about the thing that bothered me the most, the thing that bothered most people the most, and the thing that was sort of the whole test. The whole test was set up just to test this mechanic, and that is the aiming system. Now, there are a few YouTubers that have commented on this, and I want to get my 2 cents in. The aiming system was working perfectly as intended. The problem with the aiming system, I think, was that it wasn't well designed to begin with. I'll expand a little bit more on that. So, the aiming system, what you were supposed to do, as far as I could tell, was acquire a target, get a range estimate, get a barrage off, and then renew or reacquire your range estimate. Does that make sense? Am I talking like an idiot? So what I'm trying to say is that you were supposed to update your range estimate with every barrage, but a lot of people didn't do this, and they were just trying to adjust with the mouse, which is the intuitive thing to do. Like, I'm not bashing these people. That's the most intuitive thing. Control the aiming with the mouse. And that's kind of like it's... Again, this just goes to show that this aiming system isn't correct, but you could adjust the aiming with the mouse, but only a little bit. The primary adjustment came from your range estimate. So you would do your range estimate, and then fire a barrage, and see where the shots land. Maybe adjust down or up, or not down or up, but far or near a little bit, and then try again. And if that doesn't work, update your range estimate. It wasn't awful. Once you got the hang of it, it was fine, but it wasn't super intuitive, I have to say. Yet another thing I feel can be improved with the aiming system is the point of view from which you're firing. At the moment, you're a little bit too towards the bow for my taste. I think, for me, it should be somewhere in the middle of the ship. But again, that's just my preference. The ability to choose would also be really, really appreciated, I think. And with the AAA view, it didn't change the point of view, and I think it should. I think you should switch. There should be a switch, drastic switch from you know, regular main gun view and, you know, AAA view. I think maybe putting the camera behind the gun as it's done with the rear gunner in airplanes would be a pretty good fix to that. But, you know, other things can be done. What I'm saying is that there is a lot of things within the aiming system that need to be refined, and I'm just trying to highlight some of them here. And I think that's going to be it. Thank you for watching my video. Subscribe and like and share and whatever. And let me know what you thought of the naval test. I'm really excited for it. But I think there are way too many things that need to be fixed before the game can go live. And I think IGN knows that. And I think they're working on it. And I'm really looking forward to the future. Alright, thank you for watching. Goodbye. Bye.